What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics, and today we got a reaction to Charlie Winston and his album Hobo, brought to us by friend, longtime supporter, and patron of the channel, Ian. Thank you, Ian. Always appreciate everything you bring. I don't know anything about Charlie Winston. There's not a lot out there about this album, but thankfully Ian does. That's why he brought it. Here's what Ian has to say. He said, this album came out the year I moved to Belgium. It was quite popular in the French-speaking part of Belgium. Wallonia? Probably messed that up. It felt more recognized there than in the UK. Really love this album and think Charlie has a great voice and some brilliant songs on here. His other albums have some great songs, but I think Hobo is overall the strongest. Looking at the wiki page, I can see it did really well in France too. Yeah, I saw that too. I remember being in the Irish bar in Mons, and a guy came in and sat next to me. He had a guitar and we spoke a little in French, in parentheses, badly, Ian said. I bought him a drink and then he asked what he should play. I asked him what he knew and he said Charlie Winston, thinking I'd know who he was, given he's British, but I had never heard of him. Then he played a few songs and I was impressed. Hence my intro to Charlie. I just found a little bit about Charlie. He's released 5 studio albums. This one was his second, but his first album that was officially released. The first album was never officially released. Some of the songs are actually on here. Entered the French charts, as Ian talked about, at number 3 and peaked at number 1 in its 25th charting week. In 2010, Charlie won a European Borders Breakers Award for Best UK Artist in Europe. And this did chart in several countries, 57 in Austria, 3 in Belgium, 91 in Canada, so it did make it over here to North America a little bit. The 1 in France I mentioned, Germany 16, and Switzerland 9. So it did have a little bit of chart success in some countries. So before we jump in, guys, I will not have the music in this video. It'll get blocked, but there's a Vimeo link below. Check it out. You can follow along with me. I'll have the lyrics up as always. Let's jump into the first song, and you see it below, In Your Hands. Ian said it's piano-dominated song, builds with some nice brass and bass. Politically driven song about desperate people, seems apt given the conflict in Ukraine. Has an upbeat feel despite the topic. Ian rates every one of his songs. I like it. He rated it an 8 out of 10. I found this was the second single released. All right, thanks again, Ian. Let's get after this. In Your Hands. Pretty heavy song to start with, right? Lyrically. Upright bass in there. I was looking, I said at the start, if you were watching along with me, like I was looking for musician credits. There's no musician credits anywhere. I don't know who's playing anything, but a lot of piano in here. Really bass driven. The drumming's nice, so the rhythm section is really fundamental on here. Some brass in there as well, but as Ian said, definitely politically driven song. In the middle, he's talking to his mother and then father, and I'm gonna put my whole world in your hands. Mister, please let me work somehow. You kept me waiting 18 months and still I'm not allowed. And every time you promise me, not much longer now. Hey, Mister, you say you're trying, but don't you know my brother's dying? You say it won't be long, but why am I so cursed for where I'm born? I know you've got my whole world. So as Ian said, at the current time of me filming this, everything's going on in the Ukraine. This seems like a really appropriate song. Really good way to start this thing. Next up, we got Like a Hobo. I found it was the first single released, and it actually went to number 1 in France. Ian says, opens with a whistle, something that seems to have gone out of fashion in music. Sort of the title track. You know, the album's called Hobo. This is Like a Hobo. I enjoy the acoustic guitar and I assume mouth organ. Some good vocalizations and overlaid harmonies. Another 8 out of 10 for Ian. Like a Hobo. Man, another really good song, right? You feel like you got some professional musicians on here, man. You got some great instrumentation, musicianship. Really nice songwriting, too. Basically, I mean, I'll read you most of the lyrics because I think they're really good. I've always known since I was a young boy, in this world, everything's as good as bad. And my father told me always speak a true word, and I have to say that is the best advice I've had. Because something burns inside of me. It's everything I long to be, and lies, they stop me from feeling free. And then that chorus, like a hobo from a broken home, nothing's going to stop me. So you think about it, if you're a hobo, if you're homeless, you're from a broken home, like you have nothing to lose, right? So you can just go after what you want because you don't have anything tying you down. So I think that's kind of what he's talking about there. My mother always told me, keep your head on because some may praise you just to get what they want. Yeah, it's kind of how this world works, unfortunately, boys and girls. Most people that are praising you, about 95% of them want something from you, right? They have an ulterior motive. And I said, Mom, I'm not afraid. They will take what they will take. And what would life be like without a few mistakes in that, like a hobo? I mean, I really enjoy Charlie's vocal delivery on these songs. But like I said, it's just what I mean by professional musicians is just high-level musicianships. These songs are incredibly well constructed, both lyrically and arrangement-wise. Next up, we have Kick the Bucket. I found it was the 3rd single. And Ian says, a song about death that is fun. I love the opening line about this being a pop song that's so unpopular. This sums up pretty much all the music that I like. Not sure if the song translates to US English, but because Ian's from the UK, but to kick the bucket means to die. And we know that here too. Croak, shuffle off of your mortal coil, etc. I love this fun song. The highlight for me is the wandering organ about 2 minutes in. 8.5 out of 10. The song's only 2:39. Let's check it out. Kick the bucket. Just a fun song, as Ian said. A fun song about death. He's just stating facts, right? We all kick the bucket in the end. The end. All the girls kick the bucket. The end. All the boys kick the bucket in the end. We all kick the bucket in the end. The end. The end. And just, like, that's basically the gist of this song, man. I enjoyed the instrumentation. It was fun. And it just sticks in your head. He says, this is not a sad song. I don't bring it up to get you down. It's a celebration for all the red cells going round and round in your body. Those give you oxygen as well as some other things. So, yeah, just a fun song. Now up to I Love Your Smile. Ian says, a pleasant ballad. Sometimes you just need simple love songs. Has a retro feel. 7.5 out of 10 for Ian. I Love Your Smile. Like Ian said, definitely a retro feel to this one. I thought Charlie's vocal performance on there, he was feeling it, man. It was fantastic. He's basically telling you how the world can get you down, but he loves her smile. He wants to see her smile, and he kind of wants to do whatever he can to get that smile back from her. I mean, that's kind of the real summation of it. There's a little more to it, but yeah, I thought that the piano work was fantastic. And, I think the weakest track so far of the four, that's not to say it's a bad track. I'm kind of with Ian in there on the 7.5 on that one. Now we go to a song with a very interesting title, My Life as a Duck. Ian says, I have no idea what this song is about, but I love it. Voice box, bass line, I think really unusual sound. Listen to this as I write and love it more than ever. The plucked strings midway in are delightful, and then the lyrics, you must be thinking what is he on, made me smile as I was indeed wondering. Smashing song though, 8.5 out of 10. My Life as a Duck. Definitely didn't expect that voice box. I mean, I did because Ian said it, but like it's totally different than the previous track where it's just a retro piano feel. Nice piano on this one too. Really good vocal performance again from Charlie. I know it's a broken record, but I feel like it's got to be pointed out. I have no idea what this song's about either because he keeps pounding on the motif, My Life as a Duck, and I can't seem to tie it to anything about what he means. What's the symbolism of that? But, you may think it's funny. You may think I had bad luck, or did you think that I was stuck in my life as a duck? Did he use duck just because it rhymes with a lot of stuff? I don't know. For all my life, I tried to hide the animal in me. Now it's time to open up and breathe and breathe. I don't know where I'm going or from which place I have come, but as long as I'm floating, this can't be undone. And then you must be thinking, what is he on? Because, Ian pointed that out. But things are looking up. I've started to believe in living my life as a duck. I have no idea what this is about. It does have a very pleasant sound, though. Now we're to the next track, Boxes. Ian says, the outstanding song on the record for me. It's beautiful and moving, and I can feel raw emotion and tears well just 20 seconds in. Charlie's best vocals on the record. The orchestration kicks in like a masterclass in song arrangement. A perfect 10 out of 10 for Ian. Okay, with that build up, man, I can't wait to hear this. Boxes, just a beautiful performance. What a beautiful song. Lyricism is great. Lyricism is kind of made me sad, right? As a child with ocean eyes, I smiled at a world existing just for me without boxes, borders, or boundaries. I built dreams. And it harkens back. I mean, I didn't have a great childhood, but I know most of you watching didn't because that's kind of what the statistics tell you. But you still kind of had that naiveness, right? Even if you were going through stuff and saw stuff that you shouldn't see or go through, you still had that naiveness of like the world is still, a pretty good place and I can do whatever I want, right? Because you really can, but then you do get put in these boxes and borders and boundaries. Like, oh no, man, you can't do that. You just need to do this. What are you thinking? It just squashes all your dreams and you realize the world can be a very cruel place, man. And I do miss that innocence in this. Obviously, if you watch this channel, Trey and I do this channel together. He's my son. He's 26 years old. So that was gone long ago for him. And my daughter's 15. And that's gone for her too in a lot of ways, and I kind of miss those days of the really young kids just looking at life like I can do whatever I want. But like plastic building blocks that were knocked down to the ground, I grew up to a world of compromise, analyzing what it means to dream. In other words, don't dream, man, that's dumb. You can't do that. And I don't really want to understand everything in my world that spoils the fun for me. That's exactly right, Charlie. Come on, darling, you can take my hand, blowing kisses in the wind. We'll fly away in our dreams from the boxes they put us in. Man, dude, this is a great song. Great lyricism on there as well as the vocal performance and everything about it. Now already up to the 7th track, Calling Me. Ian says the record is brought back down from the peak of boxes. Pleasant song, which seems weaker than it is, coming down from a high. 7 out of 10. And that's exactly right, man. When you have a fantastic song and then you follow it up. It's not the last song of the album, which a lot of times maybe it should be the last song of the album, right? But then whatever follows, it pales in comparison. It's like, man, this isn't very good, but it actually is fine. It's just that when you have a high, it's really hard to follow. All right, Calling Me. Now, I would say 95% of the time I agree with my man Ian. Like, he's spot on his assessment and analyzing stuff. But I gotta say, I got a break from him on this one, man, because I think this song is fantastic, man. I think the acoustic is great. I think the rawness in Charlie's voice is so good. I mean, I think his voice is better on this than it is on Boxes, and that's saying something. I really do. I feel the emotion in this. I mean, the song is about, at the start of it, he drowns, and I'm just thinking he's like, it's a figurative thing, but I think he literally drowns. But his significant other is calling him, right? They're calling him back. So I hear you calling me. There's nothing I can do to hear you calling me to answer back to you. And in one of the verses, back in that room again, you hope to reach me through a medium, but there's no use. I can't reply to this lover's cry. Oh, how I wish I could see you one more time to say goodbye. So I think he literally did die, see? So I don't know, man. I think this song is crazy powerful. So it's going to be on my faves. Now up to the 8th track, Tongue Tied. Ian says, my goodness, I empathize with this song. Stupid English boy trying to live abroad with zero talent in languages. This song contains good advice for any expat. 7.5 out of 10. I haven't heard the song yet, but I'll tell you what, man. If you have the courage to live abroad, kudos to anybody that does that, man. There is no hate in this room for that. Tongue Tied, a very clever little song, right? Because he starts singing in English, then he does a little French, then he comes in with Spanish and kind of just telling you, I mean, from the translation I read of those, I don't speak French or Spanish, so don't hold me to this, but basically he starts speaking broken French and then turns into broken Spanish. So I don't know if this girl he's singing to is French and he can't communicate with her and he ends up tongue-tied, or is just using it as an example of the fact I can't say the right things to you, right? It's like a foreign language, because he said, I got a whole lot of love on the tip of my tongue, but the words won't come like I want them to come. I'm like old Mother Hubbard getting lost in her cupboard, and I think I'm losing you. So just a very clever song. Next up, we have Soundtrack to Falling in Love. Ian says, a pleasant song, nothing special, until 3 minutes in when a song that was heading for a 6 pulls out a great ending, pulls it up to a 7.5. Feels like it's trying to be more than it could be. All right, be on the lookout for 3 minutes in. Soundtrack to Falling in Love. Ian was exactly right. At the 3 minute mark, when that tempo changed and it started kicking up, the song got a lot better. The female vocalist, nothing against her. I don't know who it is, and I think it's the same one that appeared in an earlier song. I just didn't mention her during it, but she had a much more prominent role in this one. I mean, I just didn't really care for her part as much. I just wanted to hear Charlie. That's nothing against her. But when the song does ramp up, it's an interesting dichotomy, right? Because he's singing, then she's kind of, it's not really a call and response, right? It's more like a call and a whisper, because she's whispering stuff after every line. No one cares for each other here, and no one shares words we need to hear. We take what we want and turn our backs on it all. Life is sweet because we've got it all, but who knows love is necessity, and who knows fear is reality. So overall, that she's whispering and whispering, and so I thought that part worked. So I thought it did really bring the song up. Still not one of my favorites, but it definitely did improve it. Now we're up to Generation Spent. Ian says, my second favorite song, very simple tune stepping around a G chord, builds well in the enjoyable jangly sound, appeals to my sensibilities, and 8.5 out of 10. Generation Spent. I got to tell you, partway through the song, I'm like, I don't know, Ian. I don't know about this being the second best song on here. I don't know if it's the second best song on here. The song's really good. It is built and built. Charlie's got this, I don't want to say it's bravado, this confidence about him, man. The longer song goes on, the more he just owns that song, man. You believe him. And you don't always believe vocalists, right? You just don't, man. But you believe everything that he's saying. Really good lyrics. This was written in 2009, or was released in 2009. It might have been written before 2009. So true as I sit here in 2022. Looking out at the emptiness of faces makes me wonder what a world this is. Is this another generation lost in the darkness? Everybody is someone else's opinion. I don't want to be a victim of the culture, more prey for a people to dispose of. Anytime I try and come to some conclusion, I'm only faced with confusion. Welcome to a generation spent. We're all dead and spent. Well, we're all dead and spent, devil spent. Everybody's disillusioned with religion. No one really wants to talk about or question God. You know, and I'm a Christian. If you watch this channel, you know that. And there's nothing wrong with questioning God and talking about God. You definitely should do. But I mean, so many people in today's world, especially where I live here in the States, talk about God wanting this or that, political stuff and all this stuff, which is absolutely ridiculous, man. No wonder people become disillusioned with it. You're only someone if you're seen on television. Yeah, I would love to sit back and turn the whole world off. Now you're only someone if you're seen on Instagram and social media, right? So just a really well done song, man. Great lyricism, great performance. Got 2 songs left. We're up to Every Step. Ian says Charlie's a great songwriter. He keeps things simple here, and a solid 7.5. I think Ian was spot on this. Like, this song could be great. It wasn't great for me. It was just okay. I don't know what it was about it, but the lyrics are really good, right? I'm a fool to be kind to you. It's not what the men in your life tend to do. Must be so strange finding someone who only accepts you. Rejection's a lesson you've had. Somebody I could push you away. I could say I don't want you no more. I could drive you right into the floor and tell you you're useless. Get used to it, lady, but I'm big in believing that, baby, you're bigger than that. It's respect for yourself that you lack, and success, it's a mood that you choose with every step. So this woman has been put down through her youth, I imagine, had some bad relationships, and that's just kind of a story that repeats itself on and on again in this world, unfortunately. He says, I want to grow with you, to hold your old hand and look back on our youth. I will be strong. Times I might not. I'm only human. I could push you away with every step. And then just says I'd be free like a bumblebee and all these different things. I have no lock, key, or a cage. You've got to want to stay. She's not going to force her to stay or bully her into staying. I won't push you away. I won't say I don't want you no more. I won't drive you to the floor. Repeats that. So like the lyricism's really well done. It's just, I don't know what it is about it. I mean, it's fine, but I feel like this song could have been a lot better with that kind of writing. Now we're to the last track, My Name. Ian says the dramatic opening could almost be a My Life Story or David Devant and a Spirit Wife intro. We have reactions of those 2 up on this channel brought by Ian. This is a dramatic ending. I should love it as it ticks all my usual boxes. Dramatic, flamboyant, over the top, and slightly pretentious. But for some reason, I find it just a 7.5. I can see what he's trying to do, but doesn't quite hit the mark for me. My Name, definitely dramatic, as Ian said. You know, it's a play on Adam and Eve. And he's telling this woman, you know, like, you basically wronged me, and that's it. I won't apologize for the message you're in. I'm going to hide my eyes from your crimson sin. No sacrifice can make atonement. Again, the blood is on your hands. You should be ashamed, and you won't forget my name. So now I say goodbye and this to you. I pledge. Take your final step and plummet over the edge. You listen to the snake, that little motif of Adam and Eve in the garden in Genesis 3. I won't take any blame. Now here's my breath in your face. I leave you up in flames. Behold the angels singing sweet for righteousness a cry. He sings for you so tenderly, apple of my eye. So yeah, I mean, definitely a different song than what we've heard on this album. A little throwback more to the first couple songs and almost his vocal style. But yeah, it's not going to be a favorite of mine, but I do think he did a good job on it. That's going to bring me to my favorite tracks. Honorable mentions, In Your Hands and Like a Hobo. Favorites, Boxes, Generation Spent, just like you, Ian. That was your 1 and 2. And the song that you didn't like that much, Calling Me, my fave on here. Yes. Now we'll get to my overall score. First, look at the Ian's thoughts. He said this whole album is a delight and made me feel that real music was still being created in amidst the lackluster early 2010s rock, pop, indie scene. I think that's a pretty good take right there. It struck a chord with me, and it seems the French-speaking world just passed the UK and USA by. Our loss. He gives it an 8 out of 10, and ironically enough, that's where I'm going to be as well. I think this is an 8 out of 10. I don't think there's a weak song on here. There's a couple I didn't truly care for. They're still pretty good, and the songwriting is very, very good. Charlie's got a nice voice, and the songwriting is excellent. So thank you, Ian, for bringing me another hidden gem. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you guys support us in any way, the patrons make this thing go. Put up videos every single day. Check out the Patreon link below or the Patreon link on the end screen if you'd like to help us out in any way. We appreciate it. Until next time, guys, I will see you.